Of Ghana eyes 4.48 billion cedis in treasury bills to break under subscription streak, and Bank of Ghana urges public awareness to unlock benefits of Borrowers and Lenders Act.
Despite the critical role that the private sector plays in the economy, it faces persistent challenges in accessing the finance needed to start, sustain, and grow their businesses.
And the new Ghana Statistical Service report reveals 1 in 3 Ghanaian households struggle to feed themselves despite stable food situation.
Vulnerability to food insecurity is not evenly spread. It is concentrated in the northern part of Ghana.
We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Just stay with us. Another news in details. Government of Ghana is set to return to the domestic debt market today with a target of raising 4.475 billion cedis through treasury bills. This auction is seen as a critical test of market liquidity and investor appetite following a challenging start to the second quarter. There's more in the following 3 Business News Desk report.
The target covers the standard 3 tenors, the 91-day, 182-day and 364-day bills. The move comes as the Treasury seeks to refinance maturing debt and support government expenditure under the 2026 fiscal framework. The April 24 auction follows a worrying trend in the money market following a 5th consecutive week in 2026 that government had failed to meet its borrowing targets. Market analysts point to several factors contributing to the recent undersubscriptions. Commercial banks and institutional investors appear to be holding on to cash, potentially due to rising reserve requirements or seasonal demands. Investors are increasingly pushing for higher interest rates to compensate for inflation, leading to a wait-and-see approach. Despite a reported decline in the total debt-to-GDP ratio at the end of 2025, the surge in domestic debt to 333.8 billion cedis has kept the market cautious. To bridge the gap, government may need to allow yields to drift slightly higher in the coming weeks to entice primary dealers.
That was a report on government seeking 4.48 billion cedis in treasury bills to break under subscription streak. And more news this morning. The Bank of Ghana has intensified its campaign to promote the Borrowers and Lenders Act 2020, that's Act 1052, asserting that the framework's success depends heavily on public awareness and active utilization by both financial institutions and the borrowing public. This was highlighted at a sensitization workshop on borrowing and lending organized in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana here in Accra.
Speaking on behalf of the second Deputy Governor, Advisor to the Governor, Frank Libelnie, emphasized that a lack of understanding regarding the secured transactions framework remains a significant hurdle in the country's credit infrastructure. This knowledge gap, he noted, continues to act as a barrier for many individuals and small businesses seeking access to much-needed credit.
Despite the critical role that the private sector plays in the economy, it faces persistent challenges in accessing the financing needed to start, sustain, and grow their businesses. This results in rising borrowing costs and cautious risk appetites among lenders, ultimately slowing down job creation, innovation, and growth. The Bank of Ghana, through its ongoing financial sector reforms and policy interventions, has taken deliberate steps to address some of these challenges to create an enabling environment for credit availability and growth.
President of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Dr. Kofi Nsiapoku, called for clear and transparent rules on access to credit in Ghana. Credit must be cost-effective and inclusive to truly support businesses. Clearer guidelines, he argued, would help level the playing field and ensure more entrepreneurs can access affordable financing.
The Borrowers and Lenders Act 2020 represents a major step forward in promoting responsible lending, protecting borrowers' rights, and enhancing transparency and efficiency within our credit system. For businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, access to finance remains a critical pillar for growth, expansion, and sustainability. However, access must be supported by clear rules, mutual accountability, and a shared understanding of rights and obligations.
The workshop brought together regulators, lenders, and members of AGI to discuss ways to improve Ghana's credit ecosystem and boost private sector development.
That was a report on benefits of Borrowers and Lenders Act. And now a new report by the Ghana Statistical Service is raising concerns over growing hidden vulnerabilities in the country's food system. It warns that although a majority of households appear food secure on the surface, many are increasingly relying on coping strategies that could undermine their long-term resilience.
A new report by the Ghana Statistical Service is warning of mounting pressure on households across the country, despite what appears to be stable food consumption levels. According to findings from the Mobile Vulnerability Analysis and Mapping Survey, about 91% of Ghanaians maintain acceptable food consumption. However, government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu cautions that this national average masks deeper struggles.
At the national level, about 9 out of 10 households are maintaining acceptable food consumption. That means most households are eating a variety of food more frequently. But when we look closer, we see clear differences.
Nearly 1 in 3 households is adopting medium to high coping strategies to meet their food needs. These include reducing portion sizes, switching to cheaper meals, and borrowing to survive. More worrying is about 1 in 4 households engaging in crisis or emergency measures such as selling productive assets and cutting spending on healthcare and education.
Vulnerability to food insecurity is not evenly spread. It is concentrated in the northern parts of Ghana. In regions like Northeast, Northern, Upper East, Upper West, close to 4 out of every 10 people face poor or weak food consumption.
The Ghana Statistical Service is therefore urging policymakers to act swiftly, warning that without targeted and timely interventions, current pressures could deepen into more severe food insecurity in the months ahead.
And that was a report with government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu revealing 1 in 3 Ghanaian households struggle to feed themselves despite stable food situation. Government of Ghana has issued a firm ultimatum to global mining giants Newmont, AngloGold Ashanti, and Zijin, directing them to transition their mining activities to Ghanaian-controlled contractors by December 2026 or face severe sanctions. The move is the boldest enforcement yet of the revised local ownership rules introduced in January 2025. Under these regulations, surface mining must be conducted by 100% Ghanaian-owned firms, while underground mining requires at least 50% domestic ownership in contracting firms. Minerals Commission rejected requests for extensions, including a bid by Newmont to delay compliance until 2027. Regulators pointed to other listed companies such as Goldfields, which have already successfully transitioned to the contract mining module. Government of Ghana's stance marks a significant rise in resource nationalism aimed at retaining more value within the country. Before we part company, let's take a look at how the cedi is faring against other major trading currencies and how some of the key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 9 pesos. It lost 2 pesos. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis 97 pesos. It gained 2 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis 98 pesos. It also gained 2 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is selling at $106.04 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,714.10 per ounce, down by $25.80. Cocoa is selling at $3,458 per ton, up by $31.
And that was an update from the forest and commodity markets. That will be all for Business News on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, thestreetnews.com. In a world where you can be anything, just be kind. It costs nothing to become. But we'll continue with the rest of the morning show. Have a good morning.